Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at this 2023 Audi TT Roadster. Huge shout out to Audi Greenville for providing this vehicle for me today. Be sure to check out their website. They have a huge selection of new and pre-owned inventory. That link is down in the description. So this TT is finished off in Tango Red and it has an MSRP at just over $60,000. This has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to the 7-speed S-tronic automatic transmission and it pumps out 228 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,400-pound Roadster from 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, up to its top speed of 155 miles an hour. This also has a fuel capacity of 14.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon in the city, 30 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 98.6 inches. Its overall length is 165. It has a width of 72.1 and a height of 53.4 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this TT, let's start off with the hexagonal grille. So for this model, the surround is finished off in gloss black, and as you can tell, there's pretty much no obstructions to that turbo engine. A lot of cutouts to provide cooling. There's also a sensor on both sides. And for the LED headlight housings, they have a very nice, subtle design to them. You will notice too that part of the bodywork on the inside of the housing actually dips up underneath the hood. So you can see that gap right there. Gives it a really cool design, especially with the angle of the inner side of that housing. Now there's also plenty more cutouts in the inlets on both sides as well as right in the middle. And then crisp lines come down both sides of the hood, meeting that area that I just talked about very nicely. So it has a good, simple front end design to it, but also gives it that aggressive look for this smaller size R8. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 19-inch wheels with that 5-spoke design to them, two-tone look. There's red calipers. This has gloss black for the power folding side mirrors, which also have the integrated turn signal. And as you can tell with the top down, I think it has a really good look, especially with that massive gloss black rear wing. Now with the soft top, which is finished off in black, still has a good look in my opinion either way. And the soft top is a very quick operation to put this down or to put it back up. So either way, I think it looks really good, whether you want it up or down, and that's the point of this vehicle, to ride with the top down. So I think it does have a slightly better look with the top down. And then there's some nice crisp lines that flow down the side with that aluminum gas cap on the passenger side as well. Now as we work our way to the rear, this has a set of LED taillights with that sequential turn signal. There's the backup camera, all the sensors. The active dual exhaust is in the lower section with the gloss black tips. And then again, we have that spoiler, which I think is a really nice addition. Now as we work our way to the cargo space, you will notice with the top currently down, it does not hinder any of your cargo space. So you don't have to worry about moving items when you put that up and down, and it actually goes in slightly where you can place a little bit more items if you need to. There's even a spare tire underneath the floor. Very rare to see sports cars, let alone a convertible, with a spare tire that's able to fit in the back. And with one bag, you can fit in some items. You could go to the grocery store maybe. It's not a ton of space, but you are buying this Roadster to be a fun top-down experience vehicle with some practicality of some storage in the rear. Now working our way to the interior, the door panel has a nice design with the alcantara and leather, the Bang & Olufsen sound system, all the window adjustments. The side mirrors are heated too, along with being power folding, and there's a little bit more storage space in the lower section of that door. Now as we work our way to these seats, they have a combination of leather with the full alcantara insert. We have the adjustments down on the side that are automatic with the manual adjustment for the leg rest. Beautiful combination to see that. Also, right in the middle of these seats, there's a little bit of storage with the glove box, and you can actually gain access to the trunk through that space. So if you have some longer items, you want to place them through, you can do that. And there's not really any space behind these seats. You might be able to put a jacket or something small like that. So it would be cool, but obviously we have the top that folds down just behind that. Now as we work our way to the driver's seat, we have the perforated and solid leather steering wheel with the S badge down below, flat bottom design to it. On the right side, there's Bluetooth and voice commands, along with volume and tuning for the radio, navigation and favorites. This does have steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. On this left side, all of these are for the virtual cockpit, and then the cruise control stalk is down on the left side. So with my foot on the brake, let's fire this up. And now looking at the virtual cockpit, currently you can see power and torque along with boost and the fuel level on the right side. On the left side, it's currently showing the nav and the engine temperature is just underneath that. With the massive tack front and center, what gear you're in, and what the driving dynamics are of the vehicle. Now using all of these controls over on the left side, we can go through some other information like your long and short-term memory. There's even the energy consumers, and then there's consumption and the date and the time. You can pull up the audio along with your phone when you have that paired, and then we are back to the navigation. Now if I click on the view button, the nav will now come up in full screen and it will minimize the tack and your miles per hour. Now you can still go through the rest of this information in a little bit larger of a screen. So it just depends on what you are doing for the day. If you want to see all of this in full screen, or you want to minimize that and have the tack front and center. So it is great that you have the option to do that. Now on this left side, there's all the headlight adjustments. There's one air vent. There's an adjustment for it in the lower section to open and close it. And these are even heated seats too. So just by using the dial within the center, you can either push on it for the lower section of the seat or rotate it for the headrest. So that is pretty cool to see, especially for a convertible. And then the air vent is of course just behind that. Now right in the middle, there is no infotainment system. Everything is driver focused to that virtual cockpit. But for the air vents in the middle, we have these same controls within them. On this left side, there's the fan speed along with AC. Temperature is in the middle, and then the last one is where you would like the air to go. And then you can rotate these, turn them on and off. There's defrosters right in the middle. So it's a clean setup to have that design. Underneath that, there are shortcuts to the drive select. So there's comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. You can easily go through those. There's the engine start stop feature along with traction control, the hazards, and the parking sensors, which you can turn on and off as well. The entire area right in the middle here is finished off in brushed aluminum, which is a fantastic touch. And hopefully you'll be able to see there's a good amount of storage along with some auxiliaries in that compartment. And that's even a wireless charging pad, so you can have your phone chilling down there and charging at the same time. Now there is a power and volume knob for the radio as well as tuning. And looking at the shifter, by putting it into reverse, you will see that backup camera appear right in the middle of the virtual cockpit. So it's nice to have that easily accessible. There's drive, and then you can even shift by using the shifter here, or you can use the paddle shifters depending on how you would like to drive. Now behind that, there are shortcuts for the infotainment system. So you can quickly pull up the phone, you can get into radio, media, or the map and the navigation. So it's nice to have those along with the rotary dial, so you can quickly go through all this information. And you have the menu icon too, where you can further go through some of this info. So if we go into vehicle, you can see all the information that I previously showed. There's sound and radio along with media and phone, navigation, map, and then a few other settings that you can go into just depending on what you would like to do. So it's really easy to use. The only downside is that your passenger really can't do this. They might be able to see it slightly for the audio or radio, but this is pretty much driver focused. Now behind that, there's the e-brake. Along with the top operation, there's even a rear wind deflector that you can raise and lower as needed. Right in the middle, there's a cup holder with a little bit of storage, probably for the key fob, if that. And then for the center area, you have another cup holder along with a wireless charging pad and a 12 volt, so you can have that dual purpose right in the middle. And then the glove box has plenty of space for all the information that needs to go there. Now, as far as visibility goes, with the top up, you have a little bit of a pillar there, but with the size of this car, you can see around it with the side mirrors, a little bit of a pillar there, but again, you have your side mirrors. And the latch up top is automatic. So when you start that operation, that of course will unlatch, and the touch sensitive dome lights are on both sides. As we set off now behind the wheel for the Audi TT, if you're new to our channel, I actually own an Audi R8. So it's pretty cool to be in basically the baby version The TTRS is more on par with the R8s as far as power goes. So in a more of a base level TT, it's still cool to check this car out and see what it has to offer as their second two-seater sports car that Audi has. One thing that I just noticed too is that you can actually gain access to the back trunk space. So if you have some taller items, you might be able to put them up and through depending on their shape with the top up. So you have access to kind of get back there if you need to. It's probably not the most practical, but it's open there nonetheless. So it's a little bit more versatile. So we're behind a $60,000 Audi TT. These can range up to 70, 75 for the TTRS. So you have different options, different engine options, depending on the type of sports car you are looking to get. This is more of a convertible, nice type of cruising vehicle without a crazy amount of power. So if power is not for you, you just want a fun, reliable, comfortable, convertible roadster, this is a perfect option to go with for 60 grand. Not all that bad for a convertible and one that is from Audi. So I think it's a pretty good blend of everything to get. Now if we put it into a dynamic mode, not bad for the turbo 4-cylinder. Not a crazy amount of power, but it's enough if you want to take this on some back roads and have a little bit of fun, but again, you're not looking for that extra power. It's definitely pretty peppy. And in dynamic mode, it has a little bit more throttle response. You can go back into comfort, just dial it back a little bit more. And you have a pretty nice daily driving type of vehicle, functional for some items, not the biggest items, of course. This probably won't be your only vehicle, but if you don't have a lot of big items, it very well could be your daily driver. With the top up, it's also pretty quiet as far as wind noise goes. Not a whole lot of road noise, anything like that. I'm not getting out on the highway, so wind on a higher windy day might affect that some. But convertibles, roadsters, hardtop convertibles, whatever option, they've been coming more and more refined through the years. So it's not just some raggy soft top, it's actually pretty well insulated. And all I need to do is push that button up or pull it up, and in a matter of seconds, it looks like you can be moving while you're doing this. Slow speeds, 25, 30 miles an hour or so. And I'm going to keep these windows up for the audio purposes, but let's put it back into dynamic mode. Maybe we can hear that exhaust a little bit more as we come around this turn. And in the trees here, it's a beautiful day for the top to be down. Just a mild acceleration. It's what you would expect from this 4-cylinder. Now in the TTRS, that's right around 400 horsepower, I believe, with options for tuning. That's a straight sleeper. This, a little bit more underperforming. You could do some modifications to this nonetheless. So it's pretty peppy for the power, for the weight of this. And it's cruising very nicely. I'm not yelling at the camera right now. It's what you would expect for that top-down experience. And it definitely can take these turns very well. I'm not going at a high rate of speed, but with its weight, this is still a very fun and performance style vehicle. With its handling, it's going to be very capable as far as some back roads. If you're just going for a nice cruise, it's definitely going to be able to withstand some of these turns. And you have a really fun roadster. This is a lot of fun to drive. And if we slow down to, let's say 30 miles an hour, I should be able to put the top back up. There we go. We can see the top operation functioning. And just like that, it's closed. We can put the windows back up and we're ready to move. Super easy process to do. And for this $60,000 TT, it's definitely a blast. I could see this being a very fun roadster to buy. They're To me, I don't see them quite as much, so it's a little bit more on the rare side, I would say, but it's also more of an understated or underrated type of vehicle. Whether you get the coupe or the Roadster that we are in, it has a lot to offer from Audi, and especially for the price point, you can get into some other vehicles, but if you want the luxury style from a brand like Audi, it's really not pushing the price tag compared to some other convertibles and Roadsters in this similar price range. So if you want to be different, you want something more upscale, I will say, the TT is a cool option. And in some angles, it looks like a baby R8. Some of the newer ones have very similar lines. Some of the older ones, maybe a little bit with the first gen R8s. So it is pretty cool that essentially you're in a baby R8. If you go with a TTRS, it's going to be much quicker than some of the R8 models, which is insane to see, especially for the price tag and the package that you can get from a TT. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this 2023 Audi TT Roadster. Once again, huge shout out to Audi Greenville for providing this vehicle for me today. Be sure to check out their website, give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.